What's poppin', my freeform renegades? You are tuned into the Freeform Network. Thanks for joining us for another fun episode of Freeform Radio. I'm your host, Noel, with my co host, Daniel.
Yes, sir. Just came into the studio here. It's really just a glorified office, but yeah, I'm here.
And we got Andy.
It's all good, Andy, and we're here. And like I said, by the next time, it should sound better because I'm still working on getting my internet here in because uh, Xfinity exactly is not the best, but the only thing they got that's the best is their internet. But it's a motherfucker to get sometimes.
No, I feel you on that, man, but it's another beautiful day here in Chicago. Wherever your listeners are, we hope you're relaxed and feeling good. We're going to jump right into it here with Andy. So, man, yeah, I saw the news recently. It looks like Trump was convicted of that, well, the money that he spent that he didn't report
Yeah, they don't
correctly,
even know
supposedly.
that's
Like,
the part of it.
it's,
Yeah. Yeah, well, one of the. I mean, do you know what exactly he got charged with, or you, Danny? And like, do you know the gist of it, or what's going on?
I think the worst part of it is that he used company money to pay the hush money. That's the big no, right? It's not the fact that he really paid the hush money. It's that he used company funds to do it.
Well, I think that's one of them. The other one, he was saying his properties are valued more than what they're worth. You know, it's like that was like the other one I think they got from this, and like I it's really, I don't want to say complicated, but it does, a lot of people are saying it doesn't make sense. And then the other thing that kind of threw a red flag was the judge said that you don't have to have a unanimous vote for the jury to convict him. So that was like another thing that was kind of like, I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that's like a New York thing or but I'm just here to talk, like I said, business wise, like some of this they're really pushing to try to get him a felony, but it's not, from my understanding of what I've read and heard from other pundits. But it seems like a lot of people are pissed off and because they're not really sure what's going on here, and they feel like the sentiment of the people is like this is kind of like some outside influence to get this a presidential nominee, a former president, to try to exclude him from the ballot, I guess is what I'm hearing. I mean, no matter what you think, like what they're doing, I'm not saying he's perfect, but like this is all like fucked up. And he's a billionaire, and like imagine what they do to other people who doesn't have that means. Um, so I just know he got convicted. He went to some UFC thing last night with in New Jersey with Dana White. And apparently he got cheered. I mean, what I saw on X, he got a really warm welcome. His donation website crashed because they really there's so many people in there donating money to his campaign. So I guess we're just the sentencing is gonna be what's next. I don't know if it's gonna be this year or not, or like if it's gonna be like right on election day or something. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but a lot of people are, a majority of the people are not happy, and like none of this makes sense. And like Biden is, I don't know if Biden's behind it or what, but it's obviously he is unpopular right now because of the economy, inflation, and like he's been stumbling again when he talks. So the debate that Trump agreed to, which made no sense to me, like it was mostly to favor Biden. Now I really want to see that because I want to see what the hell's going to happen. But going back to the conviction, I don't know what really any of this means or what. I don't even know what he's gonna get punished with. Like, to me, like, is he gonna get screwed and like thrown in jail for like 3 years or something, or is it like misdemeanors and he just pays a fine? That's what I don't know.
I've been hearing people mention that he shouldn't be doing jail time, that this should be like a fine, like probably a really hefty, massive fine. But like it's not something that I think that people are considering like a felony or whatever, something that you would actually go to jail for. I don't think it is, but not sure.
Yeah, to me, I know there's a lot of Republicans that are upset. I was just over at my family's house on my wife's side, and they're really hardcore Republicans, and they were really upset. And I started kind of talking a little bit about it with them, uh, kind of defending the convention, because I'm like, if he's using funds from his company to pay off this lady and not his own personal money, then that is a problem, because then he's misusing funds. So he should be convicted for that. And they just kept bringing up the your boy Bill Clinton, that when he did something similar, it was all good in the hood. But now that it's their boy Trump, it's a problem. And I'm like, well, in either case, it's not right. But just because one person does it doesn't mean that, all right, now everybody else in the world can do it because this one guy got away with it. It's still incorrect and you're not supposed to do it. So, yeah, there's a lot of strong feelings towards this. I wonder how it's going to affect the election, if at all. I'm assuming some shenanigans is going to go on, and we'll have to see how this all plays out at the end.
I was reading he got in some polls he got like a 6-point bump. So I mean, I don't believe the polls no more because it's a lot of, you never know. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like you said, like, yes, people do it, but I think in more case of what Trump has been talking about, drain the swamp, the elite, it's very selective on who they do that, and like it almost never happens, but they go after him. But everybody does this shit. I think the emails that Hillary uh, deleted or allegedly or whatever, I think she got a fine for that. That was like the worst of it, and that was like all this like classified stuff on there. So let us know what you guys think at ffnquestions@gmail.com. But I just know, gauging from people's responses on X, a lot of people were happy. The other side and the others, and then like you said, the conservative Republican side, it's like a travesty of justice. And I think, I don't know, I don't want to say that, but usually I think people are aware of like what's going on, and that's why this is. I think that's why it has a lot of people upset. Like, this is kind of like, I don't know if you guys heard the old saying, "A banana republic." You know what that is?
Banana Republic, the
Yeah.
the clothing company.
No. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
don't they
sure
sell like
Danny's in-laws
T-shirts and
knows what
stuff?
that is.
Yeah.
No.
No.
So in the old days, like South America, Central America, they called them banana republics because you had these dictators and they're just doing whatever the hell they want. They're like, we're gonna give you due process, and the dictator was like, you're gonna do this, you're gonna put them in jail, and they were like, okay. And this is kind of feel like that's what people is going on right now with Trump. So it would be interesting to see. I don't think Biden is that dumb, but you never know how many people or who reached out. But I think it'd be stretching the imagination if the White House was involved and involved in this. But I know they did send Robert De Niro to make a speech the other day. Did you guys see that? And people started
Yeah.
telling him, get the fuck out of here and shit. Like, they gave him a speech and like, this guy ain't leaving if he gets in, and like, I think I mean, he's a great actor, but I don't know why he's like, I'm working for the Biden campaign now, and that was interesting to see such an iconic American actor over there get like booed and railroaded, and people, from New York, New Jersey, tell him get the fuck out of there. It was very strange, to be honest with you. And so again, and then it's let us know what you guys think. But it's definitely strange times in America, and all the shit that we got going on, and we're dealing with this, and then an election year, and the intensity of all this stuff is going to get amplified as we get closer to November. And I think in November is when all hell's going to break loose, man, in this country, because it's like everything's simmering right now, and it's going to boil over in the election. And that's where I'm thinking, like, what the fuck's going to happen, you know? Because right now Biden is, I mean, for all perspective purposes and all the polling that you see, he is behind, and he's behind in swing states, and not by much, but everybody says he's behind, and he's giving out like these like free, but the student loan forgiveness. He's like, I'm gonna give it another 10 billion forgiveness, and like he keeps doing it in chunks, and then he's talking. They finally acknowledged the other day people are struggling because he kept pushing Bidenomics. Everything is great, but I think they finally admitted the other day, like, yeah, we know people are struggling, and we're going to work on to help those that middle class get by this, because they kept saying how the economy was great, and I think they didn't understand how expensive everything is now. You know.
Yeah, I'd be curious if the elite even know anything about, the struggles out here where you have to pay $3 for a carton of eggs and shit like that.
Well, milk, I mean, it's if you don't go to the grocery stores, it's like $5 a gallon, man. It's I gotta buy milk every week. So, but
Not to mention gas, man. Gas has been going up again.
well, ever since Memorial Day, like it fucking just shot through over $4, right? Like it's
It was almost five at one point, man. It was like 4.59 or something like that.
yeah. Like I said, man, and everybody in all facets of economics in this country, they're struggling. I was reading that um, Walmart put this big release out that they noticed people were shopping more for food at their stores and didn't comprehend why. Well, they found out it was higher income people who stopped going to like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, and they came back to Walmart. So they're going to try to get more high end food at lower prices at Walmart, because that shopper, that consumer has money to spend. They're just trying to save a couple bucks before they go, like somewhere else. And I think the second quarter of the thing ends next month. I think we're really going to see like fast food places and all these restaurants go on, not under, but report lower earnings, because everything's so fucking expensive. What used to be cheap food ain't cheap no more.
Yeah, I saw that like McDonald's and Burger King and whatnot, they're having promotions to kind of advertise cheaper food because a lot of their pricing has gotten really ridiculous.
Yeah, and like what I always say, like McDonald's is it's not real food. It's processed to the bone, stuff to last forever. And like real food is expensive. Like, and people are like, well, I'm gonna pay $18 for a Big Mac meal or something. They're like, I'll go to the local bar and get a hamburger there for like $15 in a beer, and I'm paying $20. Like, to me, that's more of a value than just getting McDonald's, and I'll have like a real burger, like ground beef or some wings or something. We went to buy wings the other day, then, like yesterday actually. It was 20 wings at this local place. It was $25. I don't even know if that's a good price anymore.
Yeah, no, everything's like you said, it's getting expensive. For sure. We went for lunch at Chili's and we didn't order anything extravagant. We got the 2 for 10 and all those specialty things, and it was $50 coming out.
Yeah.
So, and that was taking it easy. We didn't even get like anything extravagant. So it's crazy.
I think when we closed on the house, we went to lunch at Chili's because they were advertising all these sales. I got their lunch special. It was like $10. It came with a salad and like a a sandwich or something, and like I got some like something to drink. My wife got like a regular meal, which is dude, it was like $30. It was like ridiculous for lunch, and like it wasn't like a lot of food, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy right now. McDonald's, it was never meant to be that expensive, dude. Like, I don't know what they're thinking. And the other day, my dad went to go get a McDonald's breakfast, and I think he just got a couple sandwiches or like three sandwiches, some hash browns or whatever. It was the McGriddles and stuff. Came out to $28, dude. It's
Yeah,
just insane. It's just next. It's unjustified, man. Insanity.
man, I didn't know you guys had it like that. You Corral's got a lot of money, man. And you going
Nah,
to
dude.
Chili's and you going to McDonald's? Come on,
Now my mom grilled him bad about it. She's like, "How are you spending $28 on this trash?" She's like, "I don't even like McGriddles and shit."
There's frijoles right here.
Right?
But yeah, man, like I said, everybody's struggling. Going back to the convictions, I think that's, like I said, everything's simmering, and I think everything's gonna explode on election day, and then what's gonna put us over the top is those results, and it's gonna be all hell breaking loose. But let us know what you guys think at fheavenquestions@gmail.com. Let's go. I'm gonna switch it up to Danny here. Let's lighten up the mood. I did notice he said fuck Bidenomics. I'm gonna go golfing. I saw some pictures of it the other day. So what happened, man? You were hitting those dingers at the were you making it to the net or what happened?
Yeah, man. Like you said, I'm living good over here. So we went to Top Golf. I hadn't been there since our company had an outing there like a year or so ago. So it was the first time taking Alana and Junior there. It was Junior's birthday. One of his birthday gifts was to take him out there. So yeah, man, we went out there, got there like in the afternoon during the weekday, and dude, it was packed, man. I'm like, are all these people like working? I mean, what are so many people here? Now, granted, there was an older presence, some of them more mature, so maybe they're retired. I have no idea. And then there was like a ton of kids, so I don't know if they're like out of school, some kind of field trip, some kind of, I don't know, program where it got all these kids free entry, because there was like 40 kids just running around. But top Top Golf, man, yeah, it was pretty good. Like I mentioned, I went there once before, and I'm not a serious golfer. I don't even really know if I got good form. I've been told that I swing like it's a baseball bat versus a golf club. So uh, I needless to say, I didn't hit it very far. Every now and then I would get contact. You would hear the club hit the ball, and it went pretty far, but nothing like some other people that were on the other bays next to me. But yeah, man, it was a pretty good time. Got a couple drinks and an appetizer, and we're just there chilling out, playing some golf. But yeah, man. I was just mentioning it to Alana today. We went to do some groceries really quick in the morning, and I was just like, man, that muscle in the back of my leg is still hurting. And she's just like, what? Hurting from what? I'm like, from that golf day. And that golf thing was Thursday, and today's Sunday. And man, I don't know what I was using, a muscle that I haven't used before, but every time I go to sit down or get in and out of the truck, it's like that muscle is like aching. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, how much longer before this muscle recuperates from playing golf for a few hours? But yeah, man, it was a good time. I don't know if you've gone before, Andy, or Noel. Have you gone, Andy?
I've done it before. I'm like, it's cool, but it's not my thing. I know people go off. I did like the picture you posted where your son was hitting Junior, and then I saw like a line. Was that through the app, or how did that come out? Or were you using an app in an iPhone?
Yeah, if you use their Top Golf app, you can record the pad that they're using, and since all the golf balls have Bluetooth
Like a
chips
chip?
on it, yeah,
Yeah.
it's able to do it like the baseball, for the pitches and whatnot. It shows you the arc of where the ball went. So yeah, all you have to do is use the app and record like the pad that you're on, and from there it triangulates and shows you an arc of where the ball went. So yeah, I did that for a few shots, and the overall Topgolf is really cool. It's got a bunch of different games you can play. You don't just have to hit it into the nets. There's other games that you can play. There's Angry Birds. There's this one where it's kind of like Minecraft, and some really cool creative games to keep it fun. Have you ever been there, Noel?
Yeah, actually, I think I've gone like twice, 2 to 3 times, but it's been many years. It used to be the one. I think they changed the name now, though. I think it's called like Golf 390 or something like that. But yeah, I've been there before. It's really fun, man, and they got good food too. I remember getting like a cheeseburger there that was like amazing.
Yeah, I was trying to convince Solana to eat lunch there, but that's where we end up eating at Chili's before we went to go play. But I told her that when I went to that company outing, I mean, now granted, it was all you can eat. They had like a lot of buffet food kind of stuff, but the food was actually pretty good for it being a golf place, and the drinks weren't that bad either. So yeah, man, Top Golf is pretty on point. It's expensive to golf for 1 hour. It's like $50, so it's pretty expensive. So it's definitely more of a special occasion kind of thing, and maybe not going every weekend unless you got it like that, like Andy. But
I bought a Groupon for Chuck E. Cheese, and
nice.
then if you go through Monday through Friday, it was $20. But if you go on Saturday, it was like $5 more. And I told my wife, "What should we do?" She's like, "Well, get the Saturday one." I'm like, "It's $5 more." But so I ended up buying the Monday through Friday one. And I'm like, I don't know, I might have to miss work to go fucking use this Groupon, take the boy with me.
Right.
So we'll see how I'll make it work. And then like the other one had like they threw in like a pizza or something. And I'm just like, nobody want their fucking pizza.
Pizza at Chuck E. Cheese is actually pretty good as well. It's nothing great, but man, Junior used to love it, especially when he used to play around. He used to run to the booth, grab a slice, take a couple of bites, and then go run off and play some more. So it's definitely a good time for little kids.
Yeah, his birthday's coming up, so I always tell my wife like, yeah, we'll take him for his birthday or something. Like just like a thing. She's like, can we just go? I'm like, he ain't going just because it's fucking Friday. It's gotta be a reason.
Dang, man. You got to be one of those parents. It's got to be a special reason. It can't just be like a Tuesday in the afternoon.
Dude, I started trying to remember when's the last time I went to Chuck E. Cheese. If it wasn't somebody's birthday, I never went. Every time, I think I went twice, and it was somebody's birthday that I got invited to. And I remember asking my mom, like, why can't I have a birthday party here? And she's like, we ain't rich or something like that. And I'm just thinking, like, damn. So that's why when people go, like, it's Tuesday and you guys bored, let's go to Chuck E. Cheese. And I'm like, God damn, they must be rich and shit.
Yeah, it's definitely that 1% of the club that you're in, Andy. I think you could float it, man.
I don't know, man. How much is a pizza? There, $20. Pizza's expensive right now.
Probably now. I haven't gone since Bidenomics took over, so God knows how much it costs now. But jumping into something else, I just watched the movie Iron Claw. I don't know if you got a chance to see this, Andy. I'm not sure if you're a big fan, Noel, but it's the documentary, well, like a drama telling story of the Von Erichs and their family. Starts off with their old man, and then it goes into Fritz and goes into the four brothers. And the four brothers got into wrestling and all the drama and tragedy that hit that family. And yeah, man, it's been in the theaters for a minute, and it finally hit. I think it was like Max, or I forgot where I saw it. Yeah, and I've been itching to kind of see this. I was even close to going to see it at the theaters, but yeah, it finally hit streaming sites and watched it, and it was pretty good, man. I really dug it. Have you seen this, Andy?
No, I wanted to see it. I did see a couple weeks ago before I moved that it was on Max, and then yeah, I just haven't had time, but I do want to see that one. And I think the same company made Civil War. I want to check that out. I'm hoping that's on Max soon too.
Yeah, that A24 company. I know they make a lot of good movies for sure. Are you interested in this, Noel? Do you even know about the Von Erichs?
Yeah, actually, I saw a little YouTube it was like a 10-minute video about like their history and all that, and the suicides and just the depression and all the stuff they went through. And yeah, I mean, they were a talented group of wrestlers, man. And I think they got cut before their prime because they chose that way, and they probably could have had a really good like future in the '90s of wrestling, man, if they had stuck around a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. What's weird is it showed that Carrie that he lost his foot, and I
Mm-hmm.
had always read that it was a myth and that he really had both feet. But in the movie, they do show that he lost his foot from that accident. But yeah, I remember all these years. I was even telling Alana a little bit about it while we were watching it. And I was just like, yeah, the rumor or, the theory is that he lost his foot and he kept wrestling with just one foot. And I'm like, I wonder if they're going to show it. And then sure enough, they show it. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, so I don't know if this is like common knowledge or maybe did I misremembering it? Like, it was just like a urban myth, but he really had both feet.
It's the
Did you
Mandela
know?
effect, man.
Did you know this definitively? It might be Mandela. I don't know. Andy, did you know
No,
this is
I
true?
heard about it on shoot interviews that he lost a foot, and I was like, "What?" Like, I was kind of shocked, and then I heard Cornette talk about it on one of his shows, and that's when I'm like, "Oh, if Cornette's saying it, then it must be true," because that guy, he's pretty good. But and then I think when they did the Von Erichs, the WWE version documentary, the DVD, I think Kevin, the one that lived, talked about how he lost his foot or something in that motorcycle accident. That's when it was confirmed.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was like I think when he wrestled Lawler. I think that's when there's a scene in that match where he's like fixing his boot, and I'm thinking now there was the foot where he lost the leg where he lost his foot. So I always wonder like now like he's trying to fix the sock or something like too that holds it in place. I don't know.
So
Yeah.
you probably had a prosthetic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know I think he did have a prosthetic, but like way before prosthetics became like super cool, with like all this like graphite metal and stuff like that. I think it was just like a piece of rubber or something to kind of, fill the void of where his foot would go. But the documentary was just really good. It just showed a lot of cool stuff. Like I didn't know your boy Lawler was the guy that bought the company. I think he's the
Him and
character.
Jared at the end. Yeah.
Right. They ended up buying the company when it was kind of struggling. And I always knew that the dad was kind of old school, but in the movie they portray him to be kind of an asshole. Like he let the brothers kind of fend for themselves in a lot of cases to kind of toughen them up. And I don't know, the movie kind of gives the perception that the kids had their downfall because of the dad, because they would reach out and the dad would be like, hey, you got to work it out amongst yourself, be a man and figure it out, kind of thing. And these guys, they struggled. I don't know. It was kind of sad. It was definitely something where, like there was one scene where one of the brothers came and told the mom, he's just like, Mom, you got to talk to dad. He's really rough on Mike, the guy that was really thin and didn't have like he didn't have a good wrestling body. He looked just like a scrawny kid. He's like, Dad's really tough on Mike. You gotta talk to him about letting loose. And the mom was just like, that's your dad's business, and it's between you, your dad, and your brothers. You guys figure it out. So it was kind of sad to see stuff like that where, maybe the dad could have prevented some of this misfortune, especially if depression ran in the family. Because I think I even heard that the Fritzes, dad or whatever, somebody in his family committed suicide. So if you know this stuff kind of runs in the family, depression, it's kind of like where you should maybe be extra sensitive to stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, it's
I
kind of
mean,
sad.
everybody, each family has their own their demons, but yeah, I mean, I know like David, the way he died, it wasn't no suicide. It was like something happened with his stomach. Carrie did something, and the other brother, well, two brothers. Yeah, it's a total of
It,
Carrie
it's
two. It
four
was
brothers.
they did suicide. Yeah,
Yeah, so David had an ulcer in his
yeah. Kevin survived. Yeah,
yeah, Kevin survived. Carey committed suicide, shot himself with well, in the movie they show it with his
yeah,
with a gun that he gave his dad.
yeah.
But yeah, and then Mike, he also committed suicide. He drank a bunch of pills and just wandered off into the forest and passed away.
Yeah, I don't
So
know if Mike is the one that got sick. Did he get the fever, or was it the other one?
yeah, he ended up getting a fever
Yeah,
because something in wrestling, like he hurt his
yeah.
shoulder. He went in
Mm-hmm.
to get surgery, and I don't know if it was like a blood clot or what, but he ended up getting a real bad fever or septic shock or something.
Yeah,
And he got a bad fever. And when he came out, the movie portrays him to be kind of like slow, like he had
yeah.
lost a step. Not
That's
that
what
he was a
everybody
great
said.
wrestler to begin with, but
Yeah,
he was slurring his words. So I don't know if it was something a little more heavy than what they let on, but yeah, he ended up committing suicide not too long after that. But yeah, man, really sad to see the family. Like Noel said, they could have been a dynasty of a family, kind of like the Harts family. But yeah, unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be, and unfortunately, the only one that survived was the guy that I didn't really think was that good to begin with, but the barefoot guy, Kevin. I always thought Kerry looked cool. He had that wrestler look, the Texas Tornado in WWF. But yeah, unfortunately, they're not with us anymore. But let's jump over to Noel. Noel, I see you're on a horror movie binge watch of a bunch of movies. I'm kind of anticipating the DVDs that I ordered. I showed you the order that I placed for the Crip Show. So Tales from the Crypt. So I'm anxious to get into it too, man. Maybe in the next couple of weeks, or maybe by the next recording, I'll have some stories of myself. But why don't you fill us in on what you're watching?
Yeah, man. So I've been, there's so many movies that I've been wanting to watch. And my cousin, he's really into horror as well. So we watch like a bunch of horror movies to kind of just increase our knowledge of it, of the genre. And so anyway, we've been doing a lot of more of the sequels rather than like the originals, because a lot of the sequels tend usually they get slept on. Like a lot of people don't really give the sequels to the originals a chance. There's a lot of sequels to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Amityville Horror, The Exorcist, The Omen, and the list goes on. There's most horror franchises will have sequels. The main ones that people know are probably like how Halloween, Friday the 13th. Though these are like the more popular ones that people know about, Child's Play, all that. But with these other ones, like Texas Chainsaw and Amityville Horror, not many people give them a chance, and so we got around to finally getting through each of them, and each of them, I would say, have their own merits. They have points that are intriguing and interesting, different takes on the original, right? And so we've seen Texas Chainsaw 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this one that I just recently watched is the fifth installment, I believe, or sixth installment. Came out in 2013. It's called Texas Chainsaw 3D. And
What? You serious?
yeah, yeah.
You need 3D glasses for it, or is it
If
just
you
by
have a
name?
3D TV, or if you went to the theater with 3D glasses,
Wait,
then
wait,
yeah,
wait, wait.
there's
Is
moments.
what year did it come out? Now?
2013.
Oh, so not even an '80s 3D. It's like the 3D phase that we went through, like in the when the 3D movie player, Blu-rays, and all that shit came out.
Yeah, so like there was like 3D TVs and all that
Yeah,
in this era.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was one of those
No
types of
fucking
movies.
way. I don't remember that. I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
which movie of Texas Chainsaw Massacre you just read off is the one where they go to space? Or am I thinking the wrong franchise?
that's the wrong franchise. I don't think they go to space yet.
But
We'll
it's
see,
even
man.
better. There's a 3D movie.
I mean, I think that's like the next step to really like finalize it. Just like Leprechaun, Friday the 13th, they all go to space. Fucking
That's right.
Fast and
Leprechaun
Furious,
went to
they're going to
space too.
space. But yeah, this one's actually an interesting take. You could technically say it's a sequel to the original, even though it's called 3D Texas, all that. What it is it talks about or it deals with the daughter of Leatherface's sister, so Leatherface's niece, and she ends up growing up, and in 2013 she inherits the house that it originally all went down in, and so she moves out there with her. She goes out there with her friends to kind of like look at the place, maybe possibly sell it or whatever, and just kind of see what she inherited, right? And in doing so, Leatherface is still there. He ended up surviving, even though it shows in the start of the film that he might have died. But no, of course, the movie, you have to have him living, right? So he does what he does best. He massacres everybody pretty much, and it's interesting. The actress that's the main character that plays the niece, her name's Alexandra Daddario. She's been in a bunch of movies you may have seen. She was in True Detective, the Percy Jackson movies, Baywatch. She's a very attractive actress, and she's been in a bunch of stuff. So, it was interesting to watch it. Partly for that, but the movie is actually pretty interesting. It's pretty decent. Like as far as horror movies go, it's not going to win any awards. On IMDb, it's got a 4.8. It's not like the best movie of all time or nothing. But if you're a horror fan, if you're a fan of Texas Chainsaw, this is a cool, unique take on it, showing like his niece, his blood relative, kind of be, go from being a good person to taking on like the family responsibilities, and it's interesting, man. It's worthy of watching if you like that stuff. So
Yeah, I was just looking at a couple snippets here, but yeah, I never seen this one. I've seen like maybe like 3 or 4 Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, and I saw one just recently where they were trying to sell like some property or something.
yeah,
But yeah, but this one I've never seen. It looks a little interesting. Might have to give a peek to it.
yeah, no, it's definitely worth watching. Some of the reviews and stuff, people are saying like this is more like a comedy than horror, but I would say it's like both. So how like Nightmare on Elm Street in the later series and the later of the franchise movies, they're like still horror, but he makes a lot of jokes and stuff like that.
You mean
There's
when he
moments in
has
here.
like the power glove? Yeah. And he's playing that video game?
That guy's stoned and shit. It's
Right.
just like that. It gets pretty comedic and stuff. But this is still a serious take. But I could see where they're coming from. There's moments where it's pretty funny. You get one-liners here and there. It's kind of funny. And it's got some recognizable actors. It's got Clint Eastwood's son, Scott Eastwood, is in it, and
Really?
yeah, yeah. It's got Richard Reel from Office Space, the guy that got like injured and won like $1 million settlement, and comes up with that come to conclusions stupid game
Yeah, the game. Yeah.
or jump to conclusions.
Jump
He's
to
like,
conclusions. Yes.
Dude, that's
yeah.
so funny you mentioned it. Me, Alana's never seen it, and we watched it yesterday, and man, we were cracking up. That's a funny movie.
He's like, I'm gonna need you to come in on a Saturday. Thanks.
The
Right.
Bobs. I love that when the guy goes talks to the Bobs and they're impressed by him because he don't give a fuck. It's like, that's a straight shooter with upper management written all over him.
Right.
It's like he has an issue with his TPS report, and then they didn't
Oh
like that
man.
he shitted on him. Yeah.
Bro, that is like such a true like movie too though, in terms of like how crazy office environment is. Cause that should happen to me. You make one tiny little like mistake and you got three different people. Oh, hey, did you see that memo about this shit? I'm like, yeah, I know. Yep, got it. No worries.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, dude, it's so hilarious. But anyway, man, yeah, going back to Texas Chainsaw, I do recommend it. I think if you're a fan of horror, man, it's gonna be worthy of watching. So, moving on, like I said, I did go through this binge of like watching a bunch of them. We don't just watch one. So, the next movie we watched was Amityville Horror: The Evil Escapes, which Amityville Horror, they have more sequels than they should. Not every franchise needs as many sequels as this one got. Um, Now, that being said, The Evil Escapes is actually a pretty decent installment. Um, just like some of these franchises, they have what you could consider like its own little trilogy within, the nine movies that are in the franchise. They have like their own little trilogy of like stuff. So like Halloween has the Cult of Thorn trilogy. So there's three movies. I think it's Halloween 4, 5, and 6 that deal with this version of Michael Myers that's called the Cult of Thorn Michael Myers because it kind of deals more of like this like cult, I guess you could say, of like worshippers of this like either deity or some evil malevolent force that gives Michael Myers this like almost immortal like invincible like ability to go out and kill people and not get hurt. So anyway, because that has like a trilogy, this also has kind of, I think it's like a quadrilogy, and it's called the Cursed Object movies. So they got this one, which is Evil Escapes. They've got 1992, It's About Time. They have The Next Generation, and then they have The Dollhouse. So it's four different movies dealing with cursed objects that were originally in the original Amityville Horror House. And those cursed objects were either sold off or given away, and the people that got it got it's essentially their house became possessed by the evil that resides within Amityville Horror. And so in this one, The Evil Escapes, it's a lamp that's given away to the sister of a woman that bought it in auction, I think, or something like that. She ended up getting this lamp. The lady that like originally purchased or received the lamp, she cut her finger on like this like sharp edge on the lamp, and she got tetanus and died. Like that's how crazy this like lamp is like evil. Like even touching it and
It's
getting cut from it,
evil.
you freaking die. So
Isn't there
uh
one with Vince Vaughn? The enemy of horrors?
No,
uh
you're thinking of Deadpool.
No, not Deadpool. Vince Vaughn, the guy
Oh,
from Swingers.
I think Vince Vaughn was in Psycho, one of the Psycho
Oh,
sequels.
maybe it is Psycho. That's why I'm getting it mixed up.
Yeah, I think the
My
most like the
bad.
last one. Nah, it's all good. It was actually, yeah, the Psycho with Anne Heche, right?
Yes.
That's the one.
I thought that was Amityville Horror. Because like they
Yeah.
remade it or something, and then I forgot it was Psycho. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm actually gearing up to watch those sequels as well. And I just recently got the Puppet Master collection, so I'm gonna be watching a good amount of sequels, man. I'll keep you guys updated on when I get to that. Vince Vaughn one. But yeah, just to sum this one up, nothing crazy, right? It's just the lamp like takes over the house, the family starts going like crazy and shit, and it's they try to find the history, and there's a priest that knows that the lamp was given away, so he tries to track it down to save the family, and it's pretty good. It's got some recognizable actors in it as well. Um, it's not rated that high, by the way. It's like 4.4. It's nothing crazy on the ratings, but I think it's worthy of watching. Like I said, this quadrilogy of the Cursed Object movies, they're actually pretty good. They stand alone, and obviously it's not in the original Amityville house, but it's cool the way they try to go with it. It's a little bit
Right.
original in terms of that, right? So worthy of watching. Moving on, the last one that I watched was Species. This came out back in '95. You guys ever
I
seen that
saw that
movie?
in the theater. I saw that in the theater.
is that
Nice.
the alien one where
Yeah,
they got to
Yeah,
impregnate her?
with the
Yeah,
chick. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's got Michael Madsen in it. Alfred
Mm-hmm.
Molina, Forrest Whitaker, Ben Kingsley,
Look at
Mark
that A list of
Helgenberger,
iconic actors. Yeah, man.
yeah, and then Natasha
There's
Henstridge, who's the main actress.
some Oscar-nominated actors in that fucking movie.
Yeah, dude. It's actually a really good, solid movie, man. And it was an original kind of take. You could tell
Mm-hmm.
it's got influence from like Alien and, a few other things like The Thing, maybe, but it's essentially like an intelligent alien that wants to like experience human life, but also procreate and just, it's intense. Like this girl goes on a freaking rampage. You can like almost consider it like a slasher because so many people get like just murked. It's insane. Um, but the movie starts out that the alien is like a little girl, maybe like a teenager, and it's actually Michelle Williams.
Yeah.
Um, it's
Really?
another famous,
Damn.
yeah, it's another famous actress, Oscar winning, I think. And so she breaks out and then she escapes and she takes like a train ride. And in that train ride, she's like gets in this cocoon. And then this
Mm-hmm.
like lady that's like checking the train cars, she gets murdered by her. And then she comes out of the cocoon and now she's Natasha Henstridge, like a full-fledged adult woman. And she's like just trying to experience life, learn about everything. And she is really intelligent and she learns, she catches on really quickly. And she's just trying to like procreate and find the perfect mate, and she's just murdering left and right people trying to find the right guy to procreate with, and she finally does. And yeah, it's a pretty cool movie, especially at the end with the alien scene where like she becomes like a full-fledged, she looks like
Mm-hmm.
reptilian and shit. Yeah, so it's got a higher rating than the other ones I said. It's got a 5.9. Still nothing crazy in terms of like, the overall rating on a movie, but I would say as a horror movie, it's definitely a must watch. I would give it like, to me, it's like a 7, right? It's like a high 6, about 7. It's a solid movie. I think it had like 3 or 4 sequels.
I was just
Maybe
gonna
I'll get.
tell you. Yeah, I think I want to ask you how many sequels. I think I remember seeing four when we were able to rent movies. Like I remember seeing the sequel, the third, and then like one of them, one of the original actors came back or some shit. That was like the big thing on the cover.
Yeah, I want to say it's probably like 4 total movies.
Yeah,
And I think
that
she
sounds about right.
plays. Yeah, she was in Species 3 was 2004. It was a TV movie.
Yes.
And then she was in 1 and 2 and 3. I don't see her in 4 though, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought
Uh,
she left. Maybe I'm mixing it up with another actor because they were like getting their back in Species or something. Like one of the actors. I thought it was La Vieja. So I could be
mm,
wrong, Maybe I'm mixing it up with something else. But I
Yeah,
remember every time I'd go see movies, I would see like new DVDs of it, and I'm like, damn, they still making movies off of this fucking movie.
and your boy Doctor Octopus was up in there, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the original one, I remember it had a lot of good actors, like Michael Madsen, the La Vieja, Doc Ock, and like I remember, yeah, just you would go and there's like another species straight to video shit, like they're just cranking them out. And I'm assuming they were making money. That's why they keep cranking them out.
yeah, a lot of these movies they don't have any like big budget or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually trying to see how much did it have. So $35 million budget. Gross worldwide was 113 million.
Yeah, it made a ton of money for them back in.
So
That's a lot of money back in the day.
very much so, yeah. So
Is that
that's
still a lot of money in the Bidenomics day, Andy?
Nah, man, that ain't shit, bro. They sneezed at 100 million como nada.
Mm,
Think about 30
yeah,
million. They made almost 120. What'd you say? 113.
yeah,
So what it
30
made
to
like
113,
80
35.
million after budget. Yeah, they probably still cleared like 50 million bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that's why it like definitely sparked the sequel there. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
taking a look at Species 2 just really quick to wrap this up. Let's see. What was the budget of that one?
Probably like
Uh,
10 million bucks or something.
Ooh, so it looks like this one actually they lost. So it was 25 million budget, 19
Mm-hmm.
million gross worldwide. So they lost on that one, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, not every sequel is gonna live up to it, man. but this one was the original, right? So I'm gonna have to see how the sequels turn out. I keep you guys updated. But in terms of the other sequels, all I could really say to sum it up is just give them a chance. You never know, you might actually like it. Maybe a lot of people shit on it, but just because somebody else doesn't like it doesn't mean you're not going to.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say give some of these sequels a chance. And I'll keep you guys updated on how it goes for the other ones with the psychos and how that Vince Vaughn one is. So. But just to kind of transition here, let's get into the article of the week. So we got here an article from Economic Times. It's Silent Hill 2 remake, release date, new features, trailer, and deluxe edition and details. So recently, this has been the news about Silent Hill 2 was for a while like in the works of being created, and a lot of people were hyped up to see it come out this year. They were hoping to see it come out in May, but instead of actually coming out in May, they just released the details about it. So it looks like right now, it says here in the article, Konami has announced a Silent Hill 2 remake will be released late this year at Sony's State of Play event in May. This information was disclosed. The ghostly town of Silent Hill will appear in the improved graphics version. However, it's not clear if there will be any new features in the Silent Hill 2 game, but the camera will now be in third person, unlike the fixed camera angles in the original game. So, as of right now, they're showing the release date to be October 8th, 2024, which would be a Tuesday, disclosed by Sony State of Play event that happened just May 30th. So they showed a gameplay video. It shows like the fresh experience of what you're gonna have when you play the game, and it's talked about the release date. So I will give a link to the trailer. It's not a really long video or anything, but it is cool. It looks like they ramped up like the combat system a bit, and the graphics look phenomenal. Like it looks modern day. It's got a modern day touch to it. And it's got the original, characters. It's not like a complete remake, or it's like it's pretty much going to be like the same game, but just remade, kind of like how Resident Evil 2 was remade. So it's going to have like a fresh feel to it, despite being like pretty much a copy of the original.
Right, the
And
original story, right?
exactly, yeah, the original
So
characters
real
and
quick,
story.
it's not a remaster. They're remaking it for newer consoles and newer shit, and they're just doing the same story over.
Essentially, that's what I got out of it, is that it's going to
Yeah.
be pretty much the original story, just redone, to modern day graphics and physics and
Okay.
all that stuff. So yeah, the terrifying occupants of Silent Hill are also shown in the trailer with masses of nurses coming towards James, that's the main character, and a massive pyramid head towering above him. So yeah, the pyramid will still be in there, all that stuff. It says here, Silent Hill 2 remake, all we know. Similar to the first Silent Hill game, you will take on the role of James Sunderland, who has ended up in Silent Hill while trying to find his wife. James believed that his wife had died before the game began, but then he received a letter supposedly from her urging him to locate her in Silent Hill. So it looks like digital items and in-game extras are included in the deluxe edition. Konami has said that the pre-orders for this game were now available in addition to the game's release date. As per the Coming Soon report, the game's deluxe edition was also revealed, and it comes with a wide range of in-game and downloadable goodies, such as an art book, soundtrack, Pyramid Head mask, Mira the dog mask, Robbie the rabbit mask, which is on PS5 only, and then you get a 48-hour early access. It says here, in addition to the game standard edition, pre-orders for this version will also get the other masks there. It's available both in standard and deluxe, with the former costing $79.99. So that's going to be a pretty expensive game, man. If the former, I would imagine that's the standard, is $80. How much is the freaking deluxe going to be, dude? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. A lot of these games, I actually was reading an article. I think it was on Friday that they're thinking about raising up games maybe another $10. So I'm thinking we might see another price jump in the near future with inflation the way it is.
That does not, man, that doesn't bode well, because like prices are rising for everything, but this is just like blatant corporate greed because it's not like these guys are like losing money on these games. They're already making tons and tons of profit. So this is literally just trying to grasp at more profit. And I feel like what it's going to do is maybe push people away to try to wait until these go on sale. And they're not going to sell as much in start, but we'll see.
So as far as Silent Hill goes, did you play the original, and are you interested in playing this remake?
So here's a little fun fact. Back when you had the PS2, this is 2001 ish. You were still here at this house. I remember like you would go out for the weekend or whatever, and I'd ask you if I could play your PS2. You're like, yeah, that's fine. And me and his mom would play Silent Hill 2. And we were like 12, 13 years old. And it scared the shit out of us, dude. Like legitimately, we would yell and like, oh fuck. Like it's I remember the vividly the very first moment where I got like jump scared. And like we had to like pause it for a second. We're just like, oh my God, like it was scary. Is where you're walking past this van and this like weird creature comes out and like reaches his hand out to grab you from underneath the van. And it scared the shit. I had no idea what was gonna happen. It was a fresh first playthrough. So long story short, man, yeah, I did play it. I enjoyed it. And I've seen videos of it as well. I haven't played in a long, long time though. But yeah.
Yeah, I played it originally when it came out, like you mentioned in 2001, and then I played it again when it came out in the collection for PlayStation 3. And I don't know, man. The For Silent Hills, some of the games are hit and miss, but part two, this one, part two, and also the one that's called The Room, those are probably my two favorite Silent Hills. The other ones, they haven't been that great, but yeah, this one has an awesome story. Like you said, the dude's just chilling at home. His wife passed away, and he just gets a letter from his wife, sometime after her passing, that, hey, I'm in Silent Hill, come and visit me. So it's definitely trippy, definitely weird. So a great game. I'm actually kind of excited for it. I don't like all the combat because Silent Hills to me has never been about combat. It's more about the atmosphere. The fixed cameras really gave it this like suspense because you couldn't really maneuver too much. So with it going into 3D, it's going to be very interesting to see. Are they adding a lot of action to it to kind of fill in the gaps? But yeah, this was one of my favorite Silent Hills, along with The Room.
Yeah, I'm excited to see with the combat. I hear where you're coming from. It's survival horror. You shouldn't have to really fight too much. But I personally like to be able to fight a little bit in the survival horror games that I play, like the Resident Evils. It's not solely focused on combat, and even when they went like more actiony, like Resident Evil 5, I didn't really like that too much. I thought that was like overboard. I do like the original one, two, three, where it's more survival. You got to kind of try to conserve ammo and stuff like that. But Silent Hill 2, from what I remember, the original, it was barely any combat. You had like this freaking broken wooden board with like a nail in it. You
Right.
had like a handgun with like five bullets or something. I was like, man, like how am I gonna survive all this? So it does instill like more fear, I guess, because now you gotta really conserve yourself and try to dodge and try to like hide and all that. But I do like a balance, and I think like what I saw in the trailer seemed pretty cool. It didn't seem over the top. It looks like you do have more weapons than the original, but I don't think it's going to be too actiony. It's going to be just enough that it gives you something to do to fight back and not just be helpless and die, but also still having like stealth mechanics or still having like survival mechanics of dodging and moving around. So we'll see though, man. Like I still have to try it out, and yeah, I'm planning to play at launch, man. We'll see.
Did you ever play this, Andy, or did you ever watch the movie?
No, I think when Silent Hill, the first thing that popped in mind was PS2, and I think maybe you told me about it or something, but I've never played it. I know of it. I know it's pretty popular, but yeah, the first thing when I heard Silent Hill, first thing that popped in my head was PS2. Like Noel said when he said like Noel confirmed it like 2001. Like I remember, yeah, being old as fuck, and I'm
Right.
like, damn, they're like that's why they're remaking it or they're remastering it. Like what? And then you told me like and you said like, oh, I played it in the PlayStation 3 collection, so it looks like they remastered it already once. So like, how many times can you do that? You know?
Right. Well, the PlayStation 3 was in just in upres, so it was released like in 720 and they upres it to like 1080. But this is a complete remake where they're doing it from the ground up with newer graphics. And the trailer that they came out with maybe like 2-3 months ago, that one was really action heavy orientated, and it gave a lot of people a sour taste. But I know from this state of play they just had this past week, people felt a little better because it was more of a well balanced trailer, showed a lot of the horror elements, showed some more of the graphic increases that they did. So looks a lot better, and I agree. I think it's something that's going to be very interesting to keep an eye out, and hopefully reviews come out and are positive. So maybe I could check it out.
For sure, man. I'm excited. PS5s, there's not too many games that I get excited for, but this one for sure is going to be one of those. And it's going to be in the month of October. It's perfect timing, dude.
But yeah, I mean, it sounds keep us up to date on what's going on with that Noel, our resident game reviewer here. But that's all the time we got, folks. We got to get out of here. We want to thank you for listening. Remember, you can follow Freeform Network on Facebook and Twitter, or I'm sorry, X at Freeform Network. Also, send your questions and suggestions to ffnquestions@gmail.com. There's where we get interact with all our listeners. Check out our page, freeformnetwork.podbean.com. There's our links to all the apps, or players that you guys listen to. We're on YouTube, Spotify, all the top ones. If you just like pure audio, we're still on the oldies, Stitcher, iTunes. I mean, that's still one. Podbean, go to the webpage. There's listener players there. But however you consume us, we appreciate it. Always like, subscribe, comment. That helps us out. Freeform Radio is here, and we're going to go to Danny.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you all for listening. And I saw that email from the commenter about more vegan topics. They're coming. Don't worry, man.
As always, the vegan people, they're loud.
They're loud, man. Those guys, they keep sending us emails.
Yeah. And we got Noel.
Hey, thank you all for listening, everybody. I'm also going to get looking at that vegan article. I'll try to find one while I make my steak in a little bit.
Nice.
And it's all good, Andy. We want to thank you guys for listening. Check us out next time. And remember, check out our webpage, and we're up and running on Facebook. So hit us up there, too, for all you boomers out there. But again, you guys have a good week, and we'll catch you next time.
That was cool, Dad.